Welcome to today's episode of The Growth Zone. I am Christian Bartsch. What is the core benefit of listening to this show? Business leaders in corporate and privately held companies gain insights into trends and strategies that provide them with a competitive advantage in the marketplace. Each episode focuses on an area such as marketing, sales, innovation, or funding that is absolutely critical to the growth of companies, whether they are startups or corporate global players, where management needs to juggle the challenges of market entry or knowing how to navigate the uncertainties of disruptive developments. Mind-feeding is where clarity evolves and helps solving organizational challenges. For those who listen to the entire episode, I have a special surprise gift. I am working on some great guests that are industry leaders in management, innovation, and marketing. Let's get started on today's episode. Today I have with me Mark Kumar from New York. He is a lifestyle entrepreneur and coaches other entrepreneurs to run a profitable online business by sharing their own advice. And think of this, if you ever helped anyone with your advice, then you are ready to create and run a successful online business today. Let's see what Mark has to offer us in regards to newest technology and opportunities for people who want to make more out of their podcast marketing. So I've got today with me Mark Kumar from New York. And I think we've got some really interesting topics for people who are in business, who are in podcasting, and as well want to look towards business. Mark, before we get started with that, can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on your show. I truly appreciate that. It means the world to me. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, people who may not know me, my name is Mark Kumar. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, and currently I'm working on podcasting, if nothing else. And then that is something that I'm truly passionate about. And I just want to take you back to the journey, which is like almost 4 years ago, how I got into the podcasting world. Is like for last 3 years or 4 years ago, I started listening to podcasting, all different ones out there, for your personal health, to Facebook advertisement, to how to market and things in that nature. And I just got in love with it. And the reason why I got in love with it, because I don't know about you, but I love the fact that I can literally plug in my ear and just take my podcast anywhere else. I know there is no other medium that can offer you that kind of flexibility and the power to do that. Like, for example, if you want to read a book, you got to stay in one place. You cannot be distracted by anything else. Or if you want to watch a YouTube video or anything else, in terms of your video, you have to dedicate that specific time. Unlike your podcast, you could literally just plug in your ear. You can go for a jog or go work out, or you can even cook and do multiple different things. That's why I love this podcasting world, because it's amazing. And not to mention the fact that you can learn so much in 1 hour, if depending on how long the podcast is, than you would in reading a book or watching a YouTube video. So I love it. And then I did that for 3 years. I learned a lot of information. And then last year in November, I decided like, hey, I know a lot of people who I have listened to it. For example, the Tim Ferriss, the Gary Vee, the Pat Flynn, and a whole bunch of other people. So I feel like I have a good idea what the audience as a consumer I need to have, but I want to give back to the community or podcasting community. That's when I started this whole podcast. And my podcast is called Mark Kumar Podcast. You can just Google those three words, and my podcast will be the first one to come up on iTunes, Apple Podcast, and and which call on Google and Spotify and everywhere else. So my podcast is dedicated for people who are entrepreneur, either starting out or who are at somewhat of a medium level where they know what they're doing, but they want to take their business to the next level. And those are the people that I help in my podcast by giving them tips and advice and secrets that I learned throughout the year. When I say years, I mean over a course of last 10 years. All that accumulation of knowledge that I have and I share with other people to help them speed up their journey to success a lot faster. Then I will stop right here and then we can go into another part of it. But I'll let you ask me another question if you have.
Exactly. So, as you said, it's great to use the podcast and to listen to it, and even listen to other people and so on. That's definitely true. I listen as well now and then, often to Gary Vee at different times, or like going for a walk. And the nice thing about it, you can download the podcast as well on your smartphone, and you're sitting in a plane and you're waiting, and what can I do? You can put it on air mode and flight mode, and then you can listen to it, and you've got ears, and at least you're not wasting your time when you're flying somewhere maybe for an hour or two, and you haven't got any entertainment system or anything else, and it's just not so convenient to read a book because you don't have the space. You can't use the iPad and all these things. So the podcast is the perfect thing because it doesn't need a lot of space as well, not a lot of personal space in a crowded plane. Nowadays we don't have the crowded planes. I hope so. At least it'll be interesting things, because I'm soon flying as well to Turkey in the next few weeks or so for a week, doing some business there and that. And the cool thing is I even got really good prices on the flights with Turkish Airlines, flying business class, which is going to be the first time I'm flying business with them. I've flown with them in other parts, but usually when I fly, usually business class, it's been mostly Lufthansa, it's been Canada Air Canada and other airlines. But Turkish, I'm really looking forward to it. And that's the thing. Even if you are in business or where you're flying in economy, doesn't matter. You want to have access to the podcast, easy to read, to download. Yesterday, I was just actually listening to some podcasts as well from India, actually. That's the thing. Podcast is a huge world. We get insights, ideas, and from people all around the world and from whatever backgrounds. They have so much stuff to share with us. And I think, Mark, as far as I understand, your idea that you've been working on now is to have build this and expand this SaaS software company that you're building for. I think it's making it easier to publish podcasts, or what is it?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm so glad you asked that question. It's like I was saying before, it's I when I first started the podcasting thing and I recorded first 5 episodes and then, I just recorded on my computer and I didn't upload it anywhere else. And then those of you who may potentially be thinking about creating your own podcast or, getting into the podcasting game, let me tell you how it really works. So you record your audio, whether it'll be in a cell phone, in a computer, and things of that nature, then you have the content. And then you have to have what they call is a hosting service. Just like your web hosting service, there is a podcast hosting service. And then there are so many different ones out there. They vary from some of them will tell you, like, hey, you can only upload 2 podcasts per month, which is, if you're just starting on, you're like, oh, wow, that's great. Only 2 podcasts. That's all I need, right? And then as you start to do more and more content and people are getting back to you, you start to realize 2 podcasts a month, that is not a lot. Even 2 podcasts a day sometimes is not a lot, depending on how much you're going to get into this thing. And then there are other ones like, hey, we'll let you upload as many podcasts as you want, but you can only have X amount of people listen to it. Will it be 10,000, 20,000 listens and things of that nature? But the beautiful thing about podcasting is once you upload it, it goes to the whole world. And then you are sending your message to the whole world, but people can anywhere in the continent or in your country, as well as other part of the countries can hear it. So that you may not first think about like 10,000 downloads or 10,000 listens. That's a lot. But trust me, 10,000 downloads or listen per month is not a lot. They will quickly add up. And what that means is 10,000 download and listen. And that means that for the whole channel. So for example, January 1st comes, you upload a podcast, you got 1,000 download. You upload on January 15th, 5 more podcasts, you get another 15,000 downloads over that. So you already went over your limit. So that's the limitation like a lot of different companies put on it. And some of them like, hey, you could only have one account. And there's like so many different variable and frustration. And then pretty much the way I looked at it, they don't want you to grow. And if you grow, then you have to pay extra for their premium plan. And once you pass that, then you have to pay extra for another premium plan. So I got so frustrated with this. I'm like, there has to be a company that could just let me have one account and I never have to worry about it. If my podcast takes off, I shouldn't have to pay any more extra, or I should not be penalized for my success, for all the hard work, sweat, and blood and tears that I put into it. So I couldn't find it. So I decided, like, you know what? I'm going to create my own company. And that's where the whole Simple Podcast Cloud company came about. And you should definitely check it out. And we have this 14-day trial where we don't ask you for the credit card information. You literally just go sign up and you have the whole suite to test it out for 14 days. And I know a lot of people who went from, let's say, Libsyn or Podbean, they switched over and they're absolutely in love with it. And they tried it for 14 days, and after that, they signed up for the premium version, which is like very, very affordable. But let me tell you this: if you want your podcast to grow from day one, and then moving forward, you don't want to have to worry about later on, you're going to pay a lot more money. Our company keeps everything simple. That's why I call the company Simple Podcast Cloud. Under one account, one fee, you will get unlimited shows. So what that means is you can create a show for fitness, and then 2 months down the road, you can create a show for your Facebook or for your marketing or for SEO, whatever your heart desire. We want you to succeed. That's why I opened this company, because I want people to actually share their message to the world to help change everybody else's life. So you get unlimited shows, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited storage, and unlimited everything. And on top of that, you also get a professional website on our platform where there are no ads whatsoever. But take it one step further, which no one else offers this. We will give you as part of your website where someone can, there's like a contact form where someone can go to that particular website, your website, and then send you a little email and then like, hey, I want to know more about this, or can you create a topic about this? That'll be built in right for you. And the beautiful part about that is behind scenes, because once you get international, you're going to get popular. And then you would probably want to know, where are those emails coming from? And we'll give you the information, like where this person coming from, where that person sent you an email from, whether from New York, whether it will be from Australia or whatever else. So that way you have an idea of like how you should create your content going forward. So that's what I'm working on. I'm really excited about that.
Cool. Sounds really great. So, which platforms do you support? So, if I have my podcast on the platform that you've got, and I decide, okay, now I've got everything ready, I've got the episode ready, and I'm going to now publish it. To where can I publish it, or what are the different platforms to use?
The beautiful, wonderful thing about our podcast platform is like, just like everybody else, you upload it to our platform, and then we give you a RSS feed, and you could take that RSS feed, you can put it in Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and it's 100% compatible with iTunes. And I know most people, like, they want to get on iTunes, but somehow they have their RSS feed is messed up. So we take pride in it. Our RSS feed is 100% compatible with Apple's iTunes. Once you get into iTunes, you will get into a subdirectory automatically. For example, Listen Note and then Podchaser and all those things. And also, you can take that same RSS feed, submit it to your Google Podcast, your Spotify, and things of that nature. So I would highly recommend just only focus on the three. First one being the iTunes, second one being the Spotify, and third one being the Google Podcast. If you can get on those platforms, you can literally be everywhere. But not to mention the fact that because of the RSS feed is compatible with iTunes, you can literally take that RSS feed and submit it anywhere where people or your platform will want to be at.
Oh, that's good. So it makes it really much easier. And as I said, if you focus on a certain group, we see it as well with us as well. Those are the three main platforms where people are listening. Otherwise, they go through our own systems and that. Um, but that's the thing. People want to have it on the device. They want to have it easy. And on the other hand, creating a podcast is work. Takes time, and you need, of course, all the different tools. So, what else does your suite offer? Especially in the preparing. Once I've got everything recorded, I suppose I have to, of course, then work on that the video fits, and maybe have some introduction, some music, and anything, and it sounds good. Do you have anything in that area that you can make it easier for us?
Can you help me understand the question? Maybe I
I
don't.
mean, you have like an editor, for instance.
At this very moment in time, we don't have editor in place, but
Mhm.
if there is a demand for it from my clients, we will definitely consider putting it in there. But at the very moment, we do not have one.
So it's more comparable with Lipsum. So all these other tools, like for instance Anchor FM, I think offer similar thing. They've got their own platform, but you can't. I think you can't really submit from outside to Anchor FM or so, which is of course a complexity in itself. But that's good because I think anyway it depends very much how people work. For instance, I use Adobe tools to do all the editing later on in that. And yeah, other people do Audacity in that. If you use that and you enjoy it, it's fine. But I think the key challenge in the end, once it's produced, is just getting it out and not having all the pains of, oh, it doesn't go out for whatever. And I've just been going through my episodes and I've been really on flank speed the last few months. And today I just went through and I found two episodes that hadn't gone into Apple, and I was going through my iPad and I thought, it's strange. There's a number missing here. There's one title missing. And that's a typical example where I think, oh, one missing, and it was actually really good. In the other platforms, it is, and I didn't get any traction. No wonder I didn't get in there because of some whatever thing that Apple had at that time of issue,
Right.
which is funny. Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, what else is there that is of benefit that makes it easy as well in regards to using the tool and getting podcasts out?
I think one of the thing that we really take pride in is like which we added a feature in there is that we give you a whole calendar view just visually. So let's say in
Hmm.
January you started uploading podcasts and then you
Hmm.
can schedule it obviously in the future as well. And then whatever you want 2 months from now or 3 months from now, if you like call it up like, hey, January 1st comes, I have this like on Saturday I have 5 podcasts recorded, but I want to distribute it, over the course of next 5 weeks or whatever. You obviously have that feature, available there. Or comes February 1st, but you didn't get on our platform until then, but you want to backdate it to January 1st. We give you the flexibility to go back as well. So you can go back and forward as well in the future. So that gives you a really nice flexibility for that. But also, visually wise, we have this new feature that we literally just implemented. Is what we call as a calendar view. So you have a whole year's worth of a calendar in there, and then it could visually tell you on Monday you did upload 5 podcasts, but on Wednesday you only upload one. So you could literally visually see like which month were your busiest month. And then
Hmm.
you could go like, hey, that was a really good month. So what did I do, or what do I need to do more of it? And then that's so far the feedback on that has been like great. And then also the features that we added in there when you go to upload your podcast, it is like stupid simple, meaning we made it so simple. You click here, you click there, and then that's that. And then we'll also give you the visual editor where you can literally type in whatever you want and then kind of format it. If you have some links built into it, like for example you want to go to markkumar.com, you can make that a link, and then we'll also put it into the behind scenes what it needs to be when it goes to different directories. So it gives you a lot of little flexibilities.
And then, if as you said before, as you said, the trouble usually is you have like one account, and then you have to have a separate account, usually in all the other service providers, for your separate podcast. For instance, when I started my podcast, I started with my wife together, and I was doing main content. And now and then she had some time to put in some. And eventually I thought, well, it doesn't really make sense to mix everything. She should have her own podcast. But she, of course, wouldn't be usually doing all the technical stuff. That's my job. so, so
Funny how that works out, right?
yeah, that works out right. But of course, with Lipsum, you can't do that because I have to have a second account, which is then for me a pain in the neck.
Yep.
Because of course, then I have to have everything separate instead of going and just uploading it all online. I have to separate systems there and that and that, and it creates quite an issue. And the same thing, for instance, let's say, as I said, when I'm traveling now next in a few weeks to Turkey and that, I might want to do together with some other partners, want to do maybe a special podcast that focused on the Turkish market, where we are podcasting important content about Europe and Turkey right out of Istanbul. And that's the thing. You can't do that if you have to fill around and create an extra separate account. Then you have the extra work of getting it all into iTunes and the things, and you have to start again from craziness, and it makes no sense then, of course.
Of course, it sounds like you need to try our plans thrown out.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm definitely, I think as well, definitely that's something that we have to definitely do and check that out, and especially since my podcast is already with over 100 episodes. We are, of course, now really on fast mode. So we're posting every day one podcast edition. That's why you can imagine we have quite a big account with Lipsum,
Right.
with a number of episodes that we are posting now at the moment. It's growing. So yeah, the only one who does, I think, maybe more podcasts at the moment every month or so, I think, is just Gary Vee. So but
Yeah.
I'm sure when he would be moving, ooh, that would be a huge gap.
Right.
That he would shift. There would be a huge wave in the pond. Once he drops into your system and says, "Hey, here, my content, boom."
Oh yeah, we will be really excited to have
Yeah.
him. Be like him or Pat Flame. Like, yeah, absolutely. You know.
Yeah, it come with 5 bulldozers and 5 pickup trucks and dump the whole data into your data set, and it's like,
Hey,
yeah,
we love those kind of challenges. So yeah, definitely.
yeah, because he does a lot. He produces a lot of content in all different areas, and he's always very active. And he's as well a New Yorker, so
Yes, he is.
it's just need to throw a stone and you reach him somewhere. He must be not that far when I think of it. You in Queens, I think, right?
Yes, I am in Queens. Yes,
So, and
I think it's in the city, Manhattan.
yeah, he's in Manhattan, but I'm not sure. But I think he grew up as well in Queens. I'm not quite sure.
I believe it's in Staten Island, between Staten Island and Queens. So it's like New Jersey, Queens, around there.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, New Jersey, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's more where he's actually more from. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for us from outside, it's just a big apple, and it's just a huge place.
Definitely.
Yeah, but it's a very lively city, and there's a lot of marketing there, a lot of agencies and publishing, book publishers a lot as well in New York. There's a lot of stuff going on, and other big names in the city as well. So it's a good place to be, and yeah, definitely for podcasting, the entire place. I've just, whilst we were chatting, I just went into my stats, had a look, and I saw Canadians are growing. That's good. Yeah, definitely. They picked up. The crazy thing is they have to really put a bit more effort in because the Irish have already overtaken them massively.
Right.
I'm just looking. The Irish are already downloading nearly more than the French and the Germans. And at the moment, the top number one are the United States, with a huge community of people listening from the East Coast to the West Coast, Texas as well, and Florida a lot. And yeah, in some states now, people sort of have time to listening to these things because they don't necessarily can go out, or they have to work from home. And now then you just need a break to figure it out and That's a huge opportunity for those who have good content, good ideas, good knowledge to share and bring the message out, and as well maybe influence people as well to start their own business and think, hey, how do I do marketing? How do I do a long tail marketing? And that's where the podcast in the end comes. You have to do it properly and as well with a certain degree of passion and the right tools.
Right. Can I just add something to that? Speaking of your, content and all that stuff, there might be some listeners who would be listening to like, hey, I want to create a podcast, but I really don't know what kind of content should I create or whether my skill level will be what people are looking for. Let me tell you this in terms of podcasting. There's literally a podcast that teaches you how to meditate. That's number one. And number two,
Mhm.
how to be relaxed while you're taking a shower. I am not even kidding. There's literally a podcast about that. So people are actually looking for the information that you are an expert in. If people are looking for like, how do I relax while I'm taking a shower? Listen to a podcast. If there's a podcast about that, I can guarantee you there's a podcast about the skill that you have and then you can help people with. But if you don't know if your skill set is like, hey, I don't know if my skill set is really good, or should I be even considering that skill set to help other people out? So there's a little thing that tells people do the midnight test. And those of you who may not know what the hell a midnight test is, basically, if I come to you in the middle of the night and I wake you up and ask you a very specific question related to your skill set, and you can answer it, your skill set is exactly what people are looking to solve their problem.
Exactly. And the thing is, people often think, okay, it's like with marketing or sales, all this stuff. They think, okay, but there's thousands of people already talking about this and that. It depends as well very much on which direction you're looking at, from which standpoint, and what you're sharing to it. Because in the end, business is a mixture of different kind of topics, whether it's sales, it's marketing, hiring. How do you get the right people? You have to attract first the right people, so that you've got your staff who can work and do a good sales work or can support your clients really good. So you have to do marketing as well. And then you have to sell them, of course, on the idea of working for you and using the tools you want to use. And that's different things, all different business things and so on. And when you think of that, you put that into a context of a podcast, there can be lots of different kind of areas. There can be people who are talking about human resources. How do I get the right staff? How do I motivate them? And all these challenges. It's not that easy. Yes, you can learn certain things like that, but you have to have a lot of experience hiring and firing, and knowing how to do it in a decent way instead of just crushing somebody just for your ego, because that's not going to get yourself further to the future. And there's so many other areas that are non-business, as you said, meditation as well, how to eat healthy, or jogging and so on, how to do it healthy, or for instance, what you can do to improve your muscles in your back, or other kind of things. And as well, plenty of other non-business related careers, like people who are physiotherapists and they want to motivate other physiotherapists to build a business that's working and is able to provide a professional service to the clients instead of being messy and not doing a good job. And then it puts tarnish on the reputation of the entire industry, which isn't good. And we see that in other areas as well. It can be finance, it can be anything. The thing is, you have to focus on one area where you want to work and work out that area into certain different branches. And that's the great thing that makes it interesting. That's why, and then you keep as well motivated to keep doing it, because having the right tools is very important to have it. And at the same time, having a reason every day to do it or every week to do it, and that, because it's not just content, or like we both now having a conversation. There's lots more to it. Otherwise, people give up. And the thing is, I read a study a few months ago before I started with my podcast as well last year, that actually most podcasts die after the 5th and 10th episode. But
I couldn't agree more. And there's a very good reason why that's the case. But I'll let you continue
complexity,
first.
yeah, I think it's complexity and life. Mhm.
I think there's a more to that, but I think the reason I feel what I know on other people of it, the reason why they fail or not even fail to stop, I should say, is because when they get excited about creating a podcast, then they have 5 or 6 topics that they're like, I want to create a podcast about those things only. That's great. And once the fuel runs out, then they have nothing else to create for. That's what average podcaster does. However, on the flip side of it, you can literally go ask people, what is it that you are having problem with it? Believe me, when you ask some people what are you having a problem with, they will not hesitate to tell you. And then you have a topic that you can literally create content until the cows come home.
Yeah, that's definitely good. So everybody has now heard what you can do, what platforms you can use, and so on, and how to stick with it. Mark, what's the website again where they can go and sign up and do the 14-day test?
It's a simple podcastcloud.com.
Great. Wonderful. Then it was great having you here on the show and having this great conversation. And I'm sure people will be having a look at it, testing it out, and deciding whether they want to get started with the podcast. And of course, they'll have to find out what topic they want and work it out. But I think everything else is then simple, hopefully.
And then also what I wanted to do is a special offer to your audiences. Is like if they are looking to have some sort of a help, they can go to my personal website, which is markkumar.com, and they just click on the contact button and then fill in the contact information and then mention your podcast name. And then what I will do is I will give them a free 30 minutes one-on-one session with me. So that way, if they have any question related to podcasts, I'll be more than happy to help them out.
That's great. So it was great having you here on the show, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Growth Zone with Christian Bartsch. Thank you for listening. Please leave a review or rating here on iTunes or on podchaser.com. If you found the content helpful, then share it on social media. I would like to invite you to follow our show so that you don't miss the upcoming interviews with leaders in the market. Simply visit the website follow.prmediareach.com. I will be adding the link also to the description of this episode so that you just need to click on that link. For those of you who are listening and signing up to follow the show, I have reserved a free copy of the ultimate guide on content marketing. This is the strategy that got me top corporate clients like McDonald's, Linde, Hewlett-Packard, Deutsche Bank, Volvo, and many others. That strategy has been working for over 10 years. It also got me contracts with police, transport authorities, military, and several universities, and even leading research institutes. For sure, it also worked wonders as it got me many small, medium-sized entrepreneurs and enterprises as clients. And that even included international clients from all around the world. The link to sign up for our free broadcasting service and the guide is follow.prmediareach.com. That will give you access to the most recent version of my ultimate guide on content marketing. You can follow me as well on Twitter by using the Twitter handle CAPBarge. That's spelled Charlie Alpha Papa Bravo Alpha Romeo Tango Sierra Charlie Hotel. Yes, that is CAPBarge. Charlie Alpha Papa Bravo Alpha Romeo Tango Sierra Charlie Hotel.